Hello everyone, my name is Lucy Baker and today I will be discussing the article by Professor Chien Lilian Kwan titled Nuns, Donors, and Sinners, Images of Women in Goryeo Buddhist Paintings. So this is Professor Kwan pictured here on the right, and from what I could gather, she is currently professor in the Arts and Cultural Management Department at the School of Fine Arts in Hongik University in Seoul, South Korea. She also taught at American University and George Mason University as a professor in Korean and East Asian art, and she was curator of Korean art at the Asian Art Museum of San Francisco. So Professor Kwan examines the visual representation of Buddhist nuns, donors, laywomen, and sinners in the Goryeo dynasty. Woodblock and silk paintings, which were often commissioned by family members to honor ordained sisters and daughters, show images of women with equal prominence as participants in the support and practice of Buddhism. Women appear in the form of taking the tonsure, mingling with monks and nuns, and even receiving punishment in purgatory. These paintings adhere closely to early Buddhist ideology that one could attain enlightenment regardless of social class or gender. Professor Kwan uses evidence from paintings from the Goryeo dynasty and other time periods to illustrate women's role in the Buddhist faith and in Goryeo society. She points out descriptive details in the paintings that help us kind of gather information and infer what the title of the women in these paintings may have held and what their responsibilities may have been. The Avalokiteshvara painting in the Stein collection seen here shows a shaven-headed bhikshuni on the left there, who's identified as the deceased Very Reverend Nun Yanhui, elder sister and teacher, admitter to the Dharma and Vinaya in the Monastery of Universal Light. Here she's standing next to Avalokiteshvara, dressed in a multi-layered monk's robe, and in her hand she is holding an incense burner. Up in the right-hand corner, the green cartouche reads, "Praise to the great merciful, great compassionate Savior from hardship, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva in perpetual offering, offered in the hope that the empire may be peaceful and that the wheel of the law may continually turn therein. Secondly, on behalf of my elder sister and teacher, on behalf of the souls of my deceased parents, that they may be born again in the Pure Land, I reverently made this great holy one and with whole heart dedicated." So this would have been a painting commissioned by a family of a higher social ranking, commissioned to commemorate their sister who held a respectable position at the temple. Some terminology I was unfamiliar with while reading through this article. So the first word, cloister, I looked that up, and cloister is a covered walkway in a monastery, typically built with one solid wall going around the outside, and then on the inside there's an opening with like some columns, and then typically there would be sort of like a garden or park area in the center. Conventual means relating or belonging to a convent. Renunciance is a person who renounces something, usually when someone renounces worldly life for spiritual reasons. Tonsure is the practice of shaving some or all of the hair as a sign of religious devotion. And then lastly, the word sumptuous means splendid or expensive looking. This word was used when describing sort of the extravagant pattern on one of the gowns or robes that we'll see later in one of these paintings. So this is a cloister. From all the images I could tell, they're usually built in like a square shape, and then so the outside would be solid wall, and then on the inside here you can see there's sort of a little walkway that goes around with the columns leading out into that garden area. This was the image that popped up when I looked up tonsure. However, I believe this sort of haircut where it's shaved on the top with like the crown of hair is specific to Roman Catholic priests. As far as I know, Buddhists would just shave the entire head. So this is the image where her robe was described as sumptuous, and this is a royal woman taking the tonsure. I was not able to find a better quality picture of this, but I just thought it was interesting that even royal women and men would take the tonsure. And you can see sort of up in the left picture, the top of her head is being shaved, as well as in that picture on the right there. So this image is titled Buddha Preaching the Law from the Stein Collection. And here we see a male donor on the right and then a female donor on the left, almost in perfect symmetry, facing towards the center at the bottom of the painting. They appear to be listening to Buddha as he delivers his sermon. Up at the top, we see the monk disciples of Sakyamuni, the bodhisattvas in the middle there, and then, of course, the donors at the bottom. The diminishing scale from top to bottom just reflects the hierarchical order. All right, women in purgatory. So women in purgatory were portrayed in Buddhist paintings, and they showed the punishments they faced. Purgatory was a passage you reached after death, and it was believed to last for 3 years until rebirth into the next life. The 10 kings, including King Yama, were believed to be the rulers during this period. They passed judgment on deceased souls for their sins committed during their life. Both men and women appeared in these types of paintings and were subjected to some type of punishment according to their karma. Among the punishments that all sinners received, some were solely targeted towards women, such as being separated from their children or being devoured by a snake. Punishment scenes and paintings have often used snakes to unleash negative connotations, negative associations towards women, relating them to the snake, the impure, dishonorable, and temptress. At the end of the 3-year journey through the 10 courts, the 10th king decides the fate of the souls with options of rebirth being an Ensura, a heavenly being, a human being, an animal, a hungry ghost, or being sent to hell. In the realm of being reborn as human, men and women were equally represented as the two options of rebirth, with neither one being emphasized over the other. So in this image, this would be one of the punishments that were specifically targeted towards women. You can see a woman here in kind of one of those like medieval handcuff wood blocks that would go around your head as well, sort of being dragged away. And down there you can see her child is kind of pulling on her robe or dress, trying to pull her back. This is another image I was unable to find a better quality image of, but I thought it was interesting. This is a woman sort of being entwined and engulfed by a snake while crossing the River Nai. So I believe that Professor Kwan's argument was really convincing. She referenced solid primary source material and historical visual evidence of the role women played in the Buddhist faith during the Goryeo period. The only issue was some of the images were taken from a period in Chinese Buddhist history, similar to the Goryeo period, so it's just kind of up to speculation if similar traditions existed in Korea at the time. However, I think with Professor Kwan's sources, it's a very probably accurate speculation. So in conclusion, women had many responsibilities in Goryeo society, including organizing the construction of temples, donation of sutras, and other religious initiatives, such as reading of sutras and helping the needy. Women also played a significant role in the internationalization of Buddhism through their activities abroad. These documented images from the Goryeo period revealed how ordained women were commemorated by their families with dedicatory images of Avalokiteshvara. Women appeared in paintings in a symmetrical arrangement to the men, reflecting the belief that all are equal in the face of the Dharma. While these images appear to be perfectly balanced and inclusive of men and women, they are ultimately framed within a system governed by patriarchy, with the man always depicted as the rulers, teachers, and decision makers of the Sangha. Here are my sources, and thank you.